Hi everyone, this is Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, and I want to do a quick update about a document that got passed by the United Nations this weekend called the Pact of the Future document. It's two parts, one on science and technology and one about the youth and future generations. It is quite egregious, and it was done by a procedure called the silence procedure, which makes it a pact. And if no one objected, it is automatically adopted and put into the record as being completely adopted. This is the World Health Organization's runaround, or end around. Since they were not able to get the World Health Organization treaty passed, they decided to take it to the General Assembly. And it is even more egregious than what the World Health Organization was wanting to get passed. Let me just read you something really quickly about what is inside of this pact that is now being accepted by 193 nations around the world and equally open-armed accepted by our current administration. It says that this is the power structure, fully digital and maximized for the control of the masses. Everyone will be expected to have a biometric digital ID that marks them not just as citizens of an individual country, but as a global citizen. So anytime you hear global citizen or anytime you hear sustainability, think that this is an egregious thing that's happening at the level of the World Health Organization and the United Nations. Anyone that has a dissonant opinion will be labeled as misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation and memory hold. Perpetrators for unapproved information will be fact-checked and punished by the system, which will be operated and enforced by artificial intelligence. Punishments will include being locked out of one's bank account, being unable to make certain purchases, unable to get on an airplane, on a subway, drive on public roads. This is the future, according to the world's self-appointed overlords at the United Nations. These are unelected bureaucrats that are making decisions about our country, our sovereignty around the world. Nothing could be more important at this point in time than to get prepared. Have water, food, digital access, flashlights, a way to communicate with family and friends. Now is really the time to get involved and get prepared, because this is what's coming. Our Congress is sitting on its hands. There was a press conference on the 17th about this, and no further action has been taken. So it's up to us to mobilize and to go forward, particularly with your local sheriffs, to get your constitutional sheriffs to say, this isn't going to be allowed in my county. Thank you very much. Take action. We've been talking about the onset of one world order, one world government, one world religion, one world money for a long time. Well, it's no longer coming. It's here.
Shalom. You might hear some kids in the background screaming. I don't know. I think they're just messing around and like just small kids, probably just playing, which is cool. But just a warning. Want to keep this short. A brother sent me a video. I haven't really fact checked it. I might look a little bit deeper into it before posting this. So this might be in vain. We'll see. But that was pretty fascinating because, you know, the talk recently has been pretty much, how do we prepare for the end times? You know, whether you believe the end is near or not, I hope that we can agree that we're not going to be on this earth forever, and there will be troubling times for sure. So what do we do? And what I thought was pretty fascinating yesterday was, I hope to put the verses here. I should have prepared it, but I believe it's Luke, a verse from Luke, and then a verse from Matthew. And what I thought was fascinating is that Yahusha is letting them know to watch and pray. And I think in Luke, it's more of like the end times, the final day, you know, his coming type of context, you know, like the final day or the final days. And in Matthew, it's more so right before he is taken away to be put to death. And so, but notice that when it comes to trial or tribulation or just being ready for the end in all aspects, the answer remains the same. What should you do? You know, what should you do? Is it Did he tell us to pay off our houses and gather a bunch of assets and, you know, all these things? I mean, I'm not saying these are bad things, but no, it doesn't say that. What it does say, though, is watch and pray. And so I think that's the answer, is just watch and pray. I think it's as simple as that. And because it's so simple, it was great. It was pretty funny. It was interesting because it's like, because it's so simple, it's so overlooked, at least for me. It's like, oh, what do I do? What do I do to prepare for the end? Ah, it's coming. What do I do? Watch and pray. Wait, but that's too simple. What do I do? What do I really do? Watch and pray. Wait, no, seriously, what do I do? Watch and pray. And I've noticed, like, Yahuwah's answers are so, not in a disrespectful way. I don't say this in a disrespectful way at all. It's so simple that a child can understand it because he's not the author of confusion. And so that is why I think that, what do we have to do? Watch and pray. Be attentive, you know the days that we're in, realize what's going on, and just watch and pray, pray about it. So watch, don't just be completely out of it and not realize, like, okay, like, look what's going on in the world. I think it's pretty clear to say, look at the natural disasters, look what's going on in the politics and all these things, and realize that there are some interesting times. If these are not the final days, okay, but, we don't know the day or the hour, but we'll definitely know the season. We can discern the weather, we can discern this. And I used to be one of those people who were like, oh, we're not in it, but I do realize, like, there's a good chance that this is it, And so what do? I want us to all be prepared. I want to be prepared. I don't feel ready yet. I don't feel ready mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. But that's the whole point of praying, I think it's really fascinating that, Peter is an amazing example. I love the brother Peter in the Gospels, in the scriptures. Peter is an amazing encouragement to me and to many others, because I feel like he was so vulnerable and so real, so zealous, yet messed up so many times. So faithful to Yahusha, however, his flesh would cause him to be unfaithful. And I think for me, that's a lot of us. And so for me, I do not feel ready. But I think about Yahusha right before he was going to be arrested to be impaled, taken away. And it was interesting because Yahusha is literally going to pray and telling his taught ones, I believe, paraphrasing, to watch and pray. And I believe they kept falling asleep. And so my theory, my question is, if he never fell asleep, right? If the apostles never fell asleep, disciples, sorry, would they have failed? Specifically, would Peter have failed if he did not fall asleep, but rather watched and prayed that whole time? And for me, I wonder, I do believe that he would have not failed. I could be wrong. I think that, Yahusha let him know that he would deny him. And I do believe Yahusha knew that he would have fell asleep. But I do also believe that Yahusha told him to watch and pray for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. I'm not Elohim. That's why it's a theory. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm not saying that it can't be wrong. It could very well be wrong. But I do wonder. It makes me think that if he didn't fall asleep, there is a good chance that he would have lived out his words and died with Yahusha right there. All of history would have been different. We would not have 1st and 2nd Peter, most likely. But we would have an account of a brother falling, yeah. So that's all theory. That's all. That did not happen, so I don't want to get too deep into that. But my whole point with bringing that up, is not for no reason. It's because I believe that we should watch and pray, lest we deny Yahusha when things get tough, lest we take a mark of the beast, whatever that is, lest we fall away and lose belief right before the coming. Let's watch and pray. Let's try to watch and pray. And so I wanted to play this clip because I was like, wow, that does sound a lot like Revelation 13. That does sound, I believe, Revelation 13. That does sound a lot like Revelation. So I just wanted to show it. But am I saying let's be scared? No, my flesh wants to be scared. But for some reason, I'm not scared. I was actually like, I had some feelings rising up like, oh. But then another part of me was like, whoa, this is exciting because this is real. Like, it proves the scriptures are real. If the scriptures were just some fairy tale, there'd be no way that all these events would be lining up so perfectly. So anyways, there's mosquitoes out here. You'd think they'd be dead by now because the weather's getting a little bit colder, but they're out here. So since they're out here, I'm gonna go in there, most likely. So anyways, much love and shalom. Just know that, you know, it's okay to be scared right now. It's okay to be worried. Not saying it's okay, but what I mean is normal, sorry. It's normal to be scared, it's normal to be worried. However, that's why we need to pray, you know, because we are told not to fear. And I believe because we're told not to fear, there's a good reason why. And I'm not perfect at all, by any means. So I may say this and fall short. But I know for a fact, Yahuwah willing, that if I do fall short and I do start getting afraid and I do start worrying, I hope to pray and I hope to watch and pray. That's what we do. Should you prepare and get like water and supplies and things like that? Sure. I mean, I honestly am starting to consider becoming more of a prepper myself as well. But more important than food and water that another could steal from you and all these things, or if you get evacuated from your city and you can't take any of it with you, more important than all of that supplies is watching and praying. So the spiritual always outweigh the physical, but it doesn't mean that you should never incorporate some of the physical. You know, us that do the Torah, we definitely know that. We don't neglect the letter and just go for the Ruach. We do both Ruach and letter. So yeah, much love and shalom. And the album should almost be out, Yahuwah willing. Don't want to set a date because I've been wrong before. But Yahuwah willing, I believe I have one song left to mix and all these things and get it prepped. I'm still working on another song right now. So after that's done, I just have officially one song left. And then I have to do the lyric video and all these things. So it's still going to be a while. Well, I don't know about a while, but Yahuwah willing, it will be soon. Anyways, please, I don't know if I'm going to play the clip before or play the clip after. I might play the clip before, actually. So, anyways, shalom. This has not been super planned. Forgive me. Shalom.